Greetings, brothers and sisters. This is Yashib in Israel for the Yashib in Israel Israelite Thought channel. I just left the Saneter channel. I'm not going to be before you long, but I have a responsibility. I have some answers. I have a responsibility to answer, if to no one else, to my audience, to those that listen to me. Now I just left the Saneter channel, and Saneter just lumped me into this Hebrew Israelite grouping. I'm a black man who claimed to be a Jew, okay, Jewish, a Jew, a black Jew. However you take it, okay, that's what I have always described myself as. I don't speak the Lashawan Kadesh, I speak Hebrew, right? Like Jews speak, you know. I follow a lot of the culture, all of the culture really, that the Jews followed. It's just the additional shit that the Jews had picked up down throughout the ages that I have not adopted. Now, Sanetta asked me a question about something about the lost tribes of Israel. And I told him that the question was unintelligible for me, to me. And immediately, he didn't, I was still answering the question. He cut me off, and didn't allow me to finish. The question and it's still unintelligible because there is no such thing as this lost tribe of Israel. That stuff is a myth, and it always has been, you know. And this is the value that you lose when you cut people off on your shows. Now, the me addressing and talking to Sanetta, and I hope he hears this and get this. If it's your idea to beat up on Israelites, well, today you beat the hell up on me because I'm not an Israelite and you lost that one. Okay? And it was disrespectful to just interrupt me on your show. If you want to attempt to make me look like a fool on your show, I mean, you succeeded. And it was a great attempt. But it's never going to succeed if you ever allow me to speak, man, because I'm not this fool that you want to paint me out to be, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not that. And I'm not that, man. And you should really apologize for that, bro. But if you don't, I'm going to keep moving anyway. But, the reality is this, man. I am not in this Hebrew Israelite cult. Never has been. I'm not IUIC, never has been. I'm not, if IUS, IUSPK or whatever the fuck they call themselves, if that's what the Israelites are, I ain't never been none of that. I'd never believed Esau was none of these things. I never spoke Lashawan Kadesh. You understand what I'm saying? I follow real Hebrew language, real Hebrew history. Now, I made it clear what it was. I am a African American and I'm Jewish. Thus, I am a black Jew. And when I tell you that I am a black Jew, I am a black Jew by every stretch of the definition of the word. Right? Do I believe that the African Americans are the children of Israel? Not all of them. Some of them could possibly be. Some of them very well are. How about that? I don't believe that all African Americans are the children of Israel. I don't think that every Negro that got on the slave ship were Jews. I believe that the Israelites were a very small part of the ancient world, a very important part, right? But Sanetta tells me that if I believe my people ruled the ancient world, then I should know that Israel was not there, or something to that effect. Well, Sanetta, when he said that to me, I had I closed my screen so that the audience can see who I was standing next to. Okay, I'm not no dummy and I'm not no fool. Okay, I'm not this Hebrew Israelite that you want to paint me out to be. I studied with Dr. Ben that y'all talk about, and I knew him. Okay, I studied with Renoko Rashidi, and I knew him. Okay, my professor was Dr. Adam Shakur, okay, the legal partner during the civil rights movement of Chokwe Lumumba, okay, the man who fought all the civil rights cases and held the estate of Rosa Parks until the day he died. That's my teacher, and it is accredited at Wayne State University and Wayne County Community College. So I've studied history, I've studied anthropology, and when you tell me that Israel was not of the ancient world, okay, and then I have to say that that is a lie, and that's not true. That is not true. See, because when you say ancient, I don't believe. In fact, I know that you don't understand what ancient is. Okay? Ancient simply means, by every definition of what it means, simplistically put, it simply means old, right? And Israel was a part of the old world. And I will say this boldly, that Israel was a small, pivotal, important, very small spot in the ancient world. I've been on Saneter's show and told him that the kingdom of Israel only existed for maybe about 200-300 years. And after that, the kingdom of Israel had fallen to the hands of the Assyrians. So when we're talking about all of the history of the world, the Israelite people has been in Africa and in Iraq and in Europe and in the Americas far longer than they have ever been in this small kingdom called Israel that only lasted a small period of time. But they did some very important, pivotal things, because when we're dealing with the history of the ancient world, right, the Israelites were the last of the Mohicans. And that was even so, even in the Americas. And that is the answer to my question. You know, the African American are the direct descendant of the children of Israel. And I can prove that with anyone. So we have Bakash, who gets on the panel, you know, because Bakash wants to try to adapt me into this Israelite group. Brother, I am not this Israelite that you want me to be. This Hebrew Israelite that you want me to be. Am I Israelite? No, I'm Jewish. I'm African American. The Israelite kingdom has toppled. My people lost the war. We went off into slavery. And America has documentation on me. So I am a citizen of the United States of America. My faith and my religion is Jewish. My learning and my intellectual capacity is Afrocentric on that matter. Okay? I don't have any connection to ancient Israel other than the faith. I don't live in the land, in the language. I don't live in the land, right? Whatever position that my ancestors held in their sovereignty there, I don't hold that here or nowhere else in the world. I am not delusioned or deranged as an Israelite, people, as a Jew, people, as Yahuda, people. The brother going to try to tell me that the word Jew is not the real word. I said it's Yahuda. Okay, and I speak better Hebrew than you. You want to say this Yahweh, man, dog, set up a debate between me and Bakai or any Hebrew Israelite, because if you guys are Hebrew Israelite, then I certainly am none of that bullshit that you guys preach. I am. If you guys are Israelite and I'm Hebrew Israelite, why in the fuck am I against everything that come out you lying niggas' mouth? I don't believe Esau the white man. I don't believe you motherfuckers speak ancient Hebrew. I believe you motherfuckers are cult. a cult that I have never participated in, a cult that I have never taught or shared the languages or the messages or the doctrines of. I teach Jewish doctrine and African American history. That's what I teach. History that is in pertainance, pertinent, right, to African Americans. And I would challenge anyone on that because I've ran with the greatest of scholars on everything that I've studied. From music, my uncle was Thomas Whitfield. You ain't gonna find too many better in music than that. Even though you may think you could, but you can't. Okay? When it comes to history, I studied up under Runoko Rashidi, right? Yes, you see it. Adam Shakur, right? Those were the two biggest influences that I've had. I've studied also up under great men like Ben Ami. You know what I'm saying? I've studied. I just can't begin to count. The people that because see, at some point you begin to study when you at work. I also worked as a bodyguard for many of these great men: Stokely Carmichael. You dig what I'm saying? William Coakley. You dig what I'm saying? Not Stokely Carmichael. I meant to say William Coakley. I get their names confused. Coakley, Steve Coakley. Goodness, Steve Coakley, Dr. Khalid Muhammad, Geronimo Pratt. I remember picking these men up at the airport. Well, I ran up under great men here. Malik Shabazz, not Zulu Shabazz, but the Detroit Malik Shabazz. Get well, man. You know, uh, I ran with many great men here. I separated from them men because the Malik Shabazz was a school, and he had me study and deal with these men in the flesh. So I'm not none of these. What I'm saying is that the very founders and architects of what you call anthropology and history, I ran with these men, and I didn't run with these men as they chump. I ran as a very important intellectual part of that. You don't have to believe it. Now, addressing Saneter's question about this, the Israelites was not a part of the ancient world. That is not true. But then again, it could be true. It depends on how far ancient do you want to go, Saneter, right? Like when you want to go back to the earliest of man or even Adam, however way you want to take it, right? Was the Israelites there? No. They was not that ancient. They don't go back that far, right? But you want to say that Israel did not exist in history. And I am telling you that that is not so because we do have historical evidence, brother. Okay? And the historical evidence that I have to prove that the African Americans are the children of Israel is far greater than any historian or any scholar that you could ever give me. Because the first historian, Black historian, to ever write a book, he's the first historian, and not only is he the first historian, he's the first Black historian to write a book on the history of the African American. And it was done right here in the Americas, and I have that book. It's called Light and Truth, baby. Check it out. Look it up. So the most ancient of our American historians, man, we going back like, man, to the 1860s, dog. Way before any Hebrew Israelite movement. And he said that we were the rulers of the ancient world, and including this small little fragment of Israel. See, you want to overlook Israel, and it's easy to do because even according to the Bible, Israel only existed as a sovereign nation from the time of Adam, not Adam, from the time of David. And I think it might have been You give it maybe, if you do the time span, it might be about 200, maybe a little less than 300 years. Maybe give or take 300 years. And after that, Israel fell to the Assyrians. Israel, at that point, had began to become blotted out of history. But Israel was blotted out of history as a sovereign nation. Israel was not blotted out of history as non-existent, Saneter. That's silly. We have the reliefs of Elisha, Saneter. We do. And this is important because when I tell you that I played a pivotal role in these scholars, see, Noko Rashidi taught me so much, right? And one day I was sitting in one of his lectures, and there's a student, Devin King can tell is a testament. He's an Israelite. He was there. He was there. Malik Shabazz was there. We was at a small little joint over there off 7 Mile, right here in Detroit, Michigan. And that night, this is why I take a picture of me and Renoko Rashidi, because that night that I took that picture with him was the last time that I saw him. Every time he came to Detroit, Malik Shabazz protected him. And the Israelites was his bodyguards, brother. And I was the leader of those Israelites. So, Renoko Rashidi, me and Devin and all of us was in the audience this day, I've had, and I brought this book, because I had a question in the book that I wanted to ask him. And I asked him, the question. And the book was about authorship. It wasn't even about history. And he answered the question, he told me that he didn't author that book. It was several others that authored that book. That was a collective. So the Golden Age of the Moors is not a single author book. That book is a collective. It's almost like a small encyclopedia of African-American scholars who found this during their path in their studies of history. So Israel had only been a nation for only maybe a few hundred years. And after that, Israel had ceased to be a sovereign nation. Now, although they may have been living in their land, they were not sovereign. They were up under the controls of the Assyrians, the Persians, the Babylonians, the Greeks, the Romans, the Knights of Malta, the Freemasons, the Muslims, the Catholic Church. Now, Israel has not been a nation since the 7th century AD, right? Now, you're not going to find no historical sources that says no stuff like this. And you're not going to find no historian that says these things that you say. What you will find is pseudo, I ain't even going to disrespect them and call them pseudo. I'm going to use a nicer word for them, which simply means pseudo today. But they have used the realm of archaeology in such a way to where you can't call the archaeologist pseudo, right? So we'll call these guys archaeological and historical revisionists and minimalists. That's what these people are. Basically, they're trying to rewrite history. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm saying that most people don't have no history of white Jews prior to sometime in the mid 1800s. And I'm just going to tell you the truth of that. You don't have no history of that. You just don't. You know what I'm saying? You don't. Not in written records over here in the Americas. That's because they were too busy trying to juxtapose themselves into being us and latching on to our recorded history. You know, the history, just like John Herrick Clark once said, the guy who Saneter always talk about, he said, I've seen no historical patterns of the children of Israel migrating into Europe. They didn't. They migrated into Africa. And these same Jewish records, because I told you I'm not a Hebrew Israelite, you know, I'm not enemy with the white Jew or the black Jew or any of that, you know, because we all are part of the same game when you really look at it, you know. The white Jews have recorded in the Talmud, I think that it was Sennacherib, that when Sennacherib conquered Assyria, that he deported the children of Israel into Africa. And this, if you want to put a white face on Judaism, well, I'm telling you that these white Jewish records say that the Syrian Jews were banished, aka deported, into Africa. Now, the Talmud is an old book, and the book is ancient, right? And this ancient book speak of this ancient Israel. You have another book that is old, that is ancient, right? It is called the Bible, and it speaks of these people in this place called Israel. You have another book called the Quran. These books are ancient, whether Saneter like it or not, because they're old. These books and writings are thousands of years old. And certainly 1,000 years is a long time, people. So you can't keep lying to the world that there's no evidence of Israel in the ancient records. Now, we got records of Israel going back thousands of years. Why is the archaeologist trying to explain away these historical documents? It's called scientific racism. It's called pseudoscience. It's called archaeological minimalism. You see, the archaeologist, there's three types of archaeologists, people. I am the one who taught the world this by way of the black nation this by way of archaeology, because I studied archaeology in junior college early in my collegiate education. Okay, I studied archaeology at Wayne County Community College way before I even went to Wayne State. And in archaeology, people, these people, and in science even, these people try to lie to you like there is this scientific consensus. You understand? That they'll say the archaeologist said this. That's fork-tongued double talk. Okay? But the archaeologist did say that. Well, he didn't tell you that there's three different kinds of archaeologists. He would want you to think that, oh, the doctor said. Like, nigga, what fuck kind of doctor said this? Was it the heart doctor? Was it the lung doctor? Motherfucker, what was it? Okay? You can't just throw the word doctor in a box, just like you can't throw me in a box of Hebrew Israelites, because that's not what I am. I am an African American, and I practice the Jewish faith, and I know that my ancestors, whether they was African, whether they were Israelite, whether they were Sumerian, whether they were ancient Iraqi, whether they were Ethiopian, whether they were Indian, whether they were Chinese. I believe that the black man ruled and dominated the ancient world, and that Israel was a part of that. Now, I told you that I believe this. You're going to tell me what I should know. Brother, I've studied in colleges and universities history, anthropology, and archaeology, and I do not know this. And you don't know this. You don't know more than me about history. You don't know more than me about anthropology. You don't know more than me about archaeology. And you don't know more than me about Hebrew or even Africa. Brothers and sisters, I challenge any one of these people. I've studied with some of the greatest minds that this world has ever seen, man. Studied upon them, under them, followed them, chased after them, did everything that I could. I start off buying these scholars' books and start going to their lectures. And then I start talking to them after the show, And then I start building a relationship with these people. Every time certain people came to Detroit, Yasha Ben Israel was there, brother. Just like every time Saneter go on his show, I'm there. Okay? I'm not a big part of Saneter's show, but I'm a pivotal part. Because I've said things on that show ain't nobody ever said. And I've also changed the dynamic of that. I am not Hebrew Israelite. I am black and I am Jewish. And I believe, I believe that my ancestors ruled Israel, Egypt, Mesopotamia, Babylon, Africa, China, and even Europe. You know, do I believe that I am an Israelite? I believe that I am Israelite. I believe that I am Egyptian. All those ancient people that you said, I believe that I am all of that. Right? Why do I study the Israelite faith? Because that is the only faith that was available to reconnect me back to that. Something that you people keep trying to lie to me and disconnect me from doing. I get it. I understand masonry. I get it. Prince Hall. I get it that you are the protectors of the truth and the secret and the keepers of it. So therefore, when I tell it, I'm wrong for doing it. So you try to make me look silly in front of the world. I get it, Freemason Prince Hall. I get it. But I'm not telling a lie. So that was my answer to what had happened over there on the Saneter channel. So when y'all go over there, I invite you all to go over. I encourage you all, go over to the Saneter channel and listen to the ridiculousness that was coming out of all of these Israelite mouths. And like I said, if these are Israelites, I'm certainly not that. I have to call myself something else. See, I thought I was an Israelite, right? But when I hung around the Israelites and when I showed them my research against they parroted ass information, they made it clear that I was not one of them. And it's been over 30 years that I knew that I have not been one of them. Okay? But that don't stop me from existing. That don't stop me from practicing what I practice. That don't stop me from believing what I believe in because the Hebrew Israelites have never accepted me as a Hebrew Israelite. Sad part about it is I've been doing this shit longer than damn near any Israelite nigga alive today. I opened up the door for what you call Hebrew Israelite thinking. And I'm going to tell you what happened. What happened was I left the Christian church and I found out that we were Jews. Israel. I found out that we were the people of the book, and I did not find out by way of One West organizations. I found out by way of deep study of the Christian church. And when I was in the Christian church, came to this understanding. So I began to start studying around the world just to see, was I going crazy? Could it possibly be anybody else on this planet that have came to this conclusion that the children of Israel were an African people? When I did my research, I've come to find millions and millions of people, not only in the United States, but around the world that believe this teaching, and that it's not a new teaching, and that it's a teaching that goes all the way back in my research in America to the 1700s. And we have all of that evidence on this channel, ladies and gentlemen. You don't understand that anyone that is a member of this channel, you don't understand the vault and wealth of information that you are a member of. You know, you're not a part of a cult over here. We dig into real history. We dig into real logic. We're studying. We're going to study. We're going to start studying the language pretty soon. You know, I just got some things that I need to get together in my personal life. You know, I got a room back there that I'm going to try to turn into a studio, so I can be able to have a place where I can go and do my recordings and, you know, put my work down. And that's going to take a time. Take some time. I'm in there trying to put it together now. I got an old room. That's a old. That's a room that is really an old bedroom, but I'm going to turn it into a studio. That's what I'm going to do. Uh, what else that we talked about? We got Bakash. I want to challenge Bakash because Bakash is old One West Israelite, and Bakash, he's been getting on there flapping his mouth, just talking crazy the whole time. That stuff that he says, that stuff don't reflect Christianity. It only reflects the One West cult. It's not an ancient teaching. None of these teachings that we have are ancient teachings. Okay. Bakash, though, is at a point where he's about to leave the One West group because he knows that that's a bunch of bullshit. He just don't have nothing else to go to. He doesn't know any better. But I want to spank him up in a debate because he thinks he knows something. He knows nothing. I know his. I know his organization, his history of it. I know the doctrines. I know all. I even know that bullshitting ass Lashaquan Kadesh, the language, better than he does. I've been an Israelite man for 30, 35 years. You know what I'm saying? That's just crazy. A Hebrew, a Jew, right? A Christian. All of that at the same time. Because that's what you New Testament Israelites are. You are New Testament Jewish Christians, Judeo Christians. And then when you join the One West group, then, well, the idea of Jewish Christian itself is just flat out cultish. You can't be Jew and Christian, right? I'm a Jew. That's the word that I identify as because the body of logic and knowledge that I possess is in that school of thought and not in your One West Israelite lying cultish propaganda. I've never believed in none of that stuff. None of that stuff. You know, and I've never received it well. You know, I've done all of the research, and we got plenty of me debunking this channel. Like I said, we got wealth of videos of me debunking all that One West stuff. You know what I'm saying? One West has hijacked the term Hebrew Israelite. Hebrew Israelite once was a term that African Americans used to distinguish themselves from the white Jews. You know, we would use either the term Sephardic or Hebrew Israelite, okay? Because we didn't want to be distinguished with the white European Jews because we just didn't, you know. Over time, these things, when the cults came out, you had to pick a side, you know, because we're dealing with religious doctrine, right? We're not dealing with bloodline and none of that because none of them people in those camps deal with bloodline. They talk that shit about bloodline, but they scared of a fucking DNA test. So they don't even have a clue. They don't even know how to read one. They ain't got a clue about a goddamn bloodline. And they spit all of this lies out their mouth. I am not one of those type of people. And I've never been one of those type of people. All of that stuff that come out the BHI, the Black Hebrew Israelite Movement, is straight cult shit, wrapped in fallacies and lies and false doctrine. And I've never been a part of that. I've been a Christian and a Jew in my life, as far as religion goes. You know what I'm saying? I've taken a Shahada. before. Some would even go as far as saying that I was even a Muslim at one time. That couldn't have lasted no more than a day, a couple hours. I got hijacked by some Muslims. You know what I'm saying? I got, I got, I got abducted by some Muslims. And all while I was up under that abduction, I was a Muslim. When I got off from under that abduction, Islam left. Couldn't last no more than about 4 hours, you know. But yeah, that's what it pretty much is, you know. No, I have never been a part of the Hebrew Israelite cult. I am an African American Jewish historian. You know, what I mean by Jewish, I mean Jew, as in Yahuda, from the tribe of Judah. Yahuda. That's what Jew means. So for somebody Bakash, to sit up there and just spew out this lying garbage that there's no such word as Jew, all you got to do is look in the dictionary and it's going to say one of the tribe of Judah. So when I tell you that I'm a black Jew, I am black by the dictionary definition, and I am Jew by every word of the dictionary definition. The white Jews provide for me to be Jew by way of convert, and they also provide way that if we can prove that we're Jewish, that we don't have to convert. And the white Jewish rabbinate has already set that up by way of our ancestors, the Igbo and the Nigerians. So there is really, we got white. I have a picture, I have a video of one of the most racist rabbis that was mad at black people calling themselves Jews. And I saw him today, and he acknowledged that that Africans and blacks are Jews, and that they are a different type of Jews. You know, he did acknowledge it. So the Most High is moving, y'all. But we got to move our people up out of that black Hebrew Israelite nonsense. I mean, that stuff has been nonsense for the last 30 years. I mean, they have been sexual deviants, murderers, extortionists. I mean, they have used that movement to be the most hideous people, and they're doing it up under the name of God. And I'm going to tell you, they're not going to stop until something happens. The feds or something is going to have to get in there and bust that up like they did the Black Panthers, because that is going to grow into something real bad. And anybody that's connected to it, you know, is going to feel that wrath, because that's not something that you want to be connected to. You know, all you want to do is learn the truth and to worship your God. You know what I'm saying? And your God is Yahuwah. You know what I'm saying? You know, your God is the God of all gods. You know what I'm saying? And you have a right to that tree of life, baby. Don't let nobody take that away from you. You get to worship whatever you want to worship. And Israel was very much part of the ancient world. And I can prove that. See, because you're not talking to one of these dummies. I can even go back to the Meneptah Stilla. You know what I'm saying? That you don't even want to even accept. You know, there is no real historical. Now, there's anthropologists and archaeologists that were that are minimalists, and that's their job, to erase the history of Israel. That's their job, man. I mean, come on, man. I mean, everybody knows this. It's their job to explain away and to falsify the Bible. You see, and in order for archaeology to be a science, brothers and sisters, each theory has to be falsifiable, right? And that's why they created the maximalists and the minimalists and the revisionists, so that out of any find, they don't know the history of these findings, right? They have to construct these hypotheses and these theories about what these findings mean. They come across findings that the Bible doesn't really clearly quantify. You know, so in doing that, they have to use hypothesis, right? And theories, right? And in order for a scientific theory to be a scientific theory, other than just a theory, this theory must be falsifiable, right? And the best way to falsify, basically, in order for a theory to exist, somebody has to be able to prove this theory wrong. If someone can prove this theory wrong, then it's a scientific theory, right? And that's all archaeologists does in scientific theories. You could Google AI. I've studied archaeology people. Most of these people, you that are under the sound of my voice, you just don't know how blessed you are to get these words that I'm telling you. Because I have studied college and colleges and universities. I've studied history. I've studied archaeology. You know, I mean, I'm not lying. It's evidence. You see me right here on this channel with Runoko Rashidi, one of the architects of Black history. How would I know about this man if I didn't study this shit? All of the gaslighting in the African American community is just sad. But it's beautiful to me because it protects me from the enemy. You know, I'm not trying to blow up. I'm not trying to get rich on this channel. I'm just there to spark ideas. Because if I could spark ideas, somebody in the world is going to catch it. And then it's going to take root. You see? I'm not over there to be seen and to be heard, you know, or try to be the next polite, the next scamming ass millionaire. You know, I'm not trying to do all of that because the Most High has me sit. You see me. You know, I'm on TV with Gucci, Dior, Louis Vuitton. You know what I'm saying? Nike, Jordans. You know what I'm saying? Adidas. You know, New Balance. You know, and then I got my other little ghetto wear that I like to rock because I like the jeans and t-shirts. I like all my little freaky, fancy, you know what I'm saying, t-shirts. I love the fanciest t-shirts. Yeah. But I live my life and I do well, you know. I live my life, I do well, and I'm not in the cult. You know, I don't wear the cult garments. You understand what I'm saying? You know, I'm not this bum or this, you know, none of these things. You know what I'm saying? I'm not this dummy. You know, I'm not this liar. You know, I'm not this nigga that's trying to turn into the next cult leader. I just want to be a black brother and have a voice in the African American community, you know? And I have that and I've established that. Okay, now what we have here, we have the God is over in the house here. What I do is I have you on my phone and I don't know how to get your posting up on the screen. Let me see if I can, it's in media assets. Let me see what I can do if I can get your post on the screen so we can address it. Oh boy, I don't know how we're gonna do it. How we're gonna do it? Let me see more. Post comment. There we go. Pow. Nope, it won't. Well, it won't let me post a comment. Well, I'll. Yeah, I'm over here. I'm over here trying to get your comment on the stage, and I can't do it and end up exiting the stage. But your comment is Genesis 11, 2:11, uh 14, Genesis 14 and 13, coming from the KJV, Exodus 2:5 through 6, KJV, Exodus 3:18, KJV. Then we have Numbers 12, 1 KJV, 12 and 1. Then we have Acts 12:26 KJV. And then we have 26 and 14 KJV. We have Revelations 2, 8, and 9. Yes, yes, yes. We have Revelations 3, 8, and 9. Then we have Corinthians 11 and 14, JC. Then we have Isaiah 53, 2, KJV, the Messiah. Yeah, I recognize a lot of these scriptures, and a lot of these scriptures is validating a lot of things that I was saying on here tonight. You know, they represent the blackness of the children of Israel. Uh, we're talking about the Exodus here. There's a lot of things that have been talked about in these particular texts. I thank God it's over. I want to be able to try to see if I can start your comment. Let me see, because that's a good comment there. Well, I started the comment. I don't know if I can get it. I'm going to have to go and study StreamYard for mobile so I can have more control. You know, when you're on mobile, you don't have as much control as you have, you know, when you're coming from a PC. A lot of information, like how sharing information and stuff like that, I could share that information. I can't do that over my phone. And I don't see where it's allowing me to post a comment, but I guess there's no need to. But yeah, I just was up here for a little while, and I just wanted to address the comments, you know, that were made on the Saneter show tonight. Y'all, I invite you all to go over there and watch the show tonight. It's the show tonight that dealt with Shaka Amos making the connection between the African Americans and the Egyptians. I believe that the connection can be made with us and every society in the ancient world. You know what comes to mind when I say that? I think about how the Europeans labeled us as Canaanites. But now they want to take that back, because if they label us as Canaanites, then they're saying that we are the world's first colonizers, and that our seed was the first seed planted all around the world. So they had to take that lie back, you know. And because we spoke a Canaanite language, which was Hebrew, you know, they were just trying to throw it off, you know, and try to explain why we have this culture. And then after time, that they say that we never even had that culture at all. You know, so it's really crazy, you know, the scientific racism and all of the pseudoscience and scientific minimalism and historical revisionism and archaeological and anthropological minimalism. You know, that stuff is just really crazy. But it's crazy, you know, because this is the way the European think. In order for archaeology to be a science, it has, you know, what I'm saying is that the minimalists may have a theory. They'll say that there's no evidence of the Exodus, but the maximalists have evidence of the Exodus. And their job is to debunk the minimalists, and they do. And when the maximalists have their theories, right? The minimalists debunk their theories with evidence, right? This is what makes it falsifiable. This is what makes it a science. And this is what makes every theory valid, whether it's from a maximalist, a minimalist, or an archaeological revisionist, brothers and sisters. But I am getting ready to get up off of here. Go back and rewind this, listen to it. I'm dropping some good jewels in here. You know what I'm saying? And trust me, you guys are blessed because there is a vault of knowledge, especially on the other side of where the recorded videos are. But I'm going to clean this channel up. It has a lot of stuff on here that really is over the years that need to be made private. You know what I'm saying? So, or even just taken down. Some of the videos I'm gonna try to take some of the videos down that took this channel, or that can have the potential to take this channel into another direction other than the Israelite thought. So I'm gonna go through and do some purging of this channel. But that being stated, man, I enjoy being here. I enjoy kicking it to you all. You all hit that like, share, and subscribe. Please share this video. Go back and listen to it. And hey, just spread the word. Continue, to exist on this planet in love, peace, and harmony with the God of the universe. Peace, love, and shalom.